active. So if you have your phones, like you usually check email or text while I talk, don't do that. Instead, if you can see it on the TV, if you go to menti.com, menti.com, and then there's a number there to put in, and then you can follow along and answer questions on your phone, and I will see those answers. So when you're ready for the number, I'll read it aloud if I see some eyeballs. Okay, so the number is 8101. It's on the screen as well. 4579. I'm checking your eyeballs to see if you can read that small of print. Probably not. 8101 4579. Okay. Hopefully most of you have it. With this, you can follow along. You'll see the slides on your phone, but then when there's a few questions, you can answer it from that as well. All right. Well, thanks for having us today. The fire chief, Terry Essary, is here. He's going to talk specifically about fire station number 2. And I'm going to talk a little bit about our time project. So this is a new effort that we have at the City of Stillwater, where we talk through some of the basic infrastructure needs that we definitely have identified as a city, but also get some feedback from you, our community, on how should we pay for those? What revenue options do we have? And what's the best way moving forward with that? We also have community meetings that we're hosting throughout the community. And on your table, there's some half-page flyers, and it has the dates and the locations of our community meetings. So at those community meetings and also on our website, there'll be a lot more information than what I'm presenting today. Today, since we had lengthy speakers prior to me getting up here, there's just a little bit of time for me to talk through what these projects are, and then we're only going to touch on the fire station as opposed to some of the other projects we've identified as well. So I'd encourage you to do your research on the website. Use Speak Up Stillwater to let your voice be heard. Email Brady the complaints, and then you can also, I'm just joking about that, but if you want, he'll take it. Okay, just email me and I'll forward it to him. And then also, you can come to our community meetings where we will be presenting a lengthier on this topic as well. Okay, with that said, our time projects. Why is it called time? Well, when we were brainstorming in the innovation office the other day, or a few months ago, not really the other day, thinking of how we're both new to as employees to the City of Stillwater, almost a year now, still feels very new. And we were both, prior to working for the city, very engaged residents, just like you. We knew what was happening in our community. We wanted to see the best in our community, but there was a lot we didn't know. And we also knew that we wanted to work together to make sure that we were living in the best community that we could. And so TIME stands for Together Investing in Municipal Excellence. It's not just city employees, it's not just elected officials, it's all of us as residents working together to make sure that our community is the community that we want to live in. So here is a part where you can participate on your phone, and whatever you write, it will be stored on this. So just know, I won't know that you said it unless you write something obvious. But we're going to use this as data. And then whenever I present to council from all the community meetings and all the feedback we received, this will be included in that. So that's why I would love your participation. So how would you best describe Stillwater? Some of you are figuring out how to use this, and you can see on the screen what other people are putting in there. Progressing, friendly, bad streets, awesome, idyllic, home, charming. You can keep putting more in too. You don't have to just pick one. Family friendly, small town. Ooh, Matt Damon film. That caught my attention. Okay. Friendly seems to be the one that people are putting in the most. Orange, home, quaint. Okay. You have last words. Put it in now. All right. Awesome, bad streets, duck. I don't know. That doesn't make much sense. I mean, I think I know what you're going for there. All right. And everything we do as a city is an extension, or should be an extension, of our mission and vision as a City of Stillwater. So the time projects are reflective of our mission and vision. Our mission is to build a vibrant community for every resident through our efficient services, shared spaces, and smart planning. And then our vision, Stillwater will be a dynamic, inclusive community with a spirit of innovation, growth, and opportunity. And I saw that a few of you found that you can heart this slide at the bottom. A few of you are doing that. There were other options like smiley faces and then thumbs down, and I just didn't even give you that option. So you can either love it or be silent, I guess. So thanks for all the love. No, you just send Brady an email if you're not happy. Okay. What do you see as the biggest challenges facing Stillwater? So put those in on your phone. What do you see as the biggest challenges facing Stillwater? And you can put several. Infrastructure, funding, roads, streets, COVID, housing, vision, a lot of infrastructure, too many employees, old versus new, youth activity space, ineffective government, COVID, old versus new, growth to city limits. Okay. All right. And some of you put this one on there, funding. So we definitely have some funding challenges as a municipality. And I feel like any topic that we discuss where we're looking at generating additional revenue, it's just important to understand a few of the funding challenges that we face. And so before we talk specifically about a new fire station and how we want to pay for it, and really today it's just why we need a new fire station, it's just important to have a common understanding of the funding challenges that we face as a municipality. And so the first would be that Oklahoma is the only state that does not allow ad valorem for general funding or property taxes. And so therefore it's making Oklahoma the only state where municipalities rely primarily on sales tax collections to fund city government operations. Also, revenue has remained relatively flat over the last 6 years. And it doesn't increase enough year to year to fund additional major projects and needs. And we see this in our sales tax revenue for Stillwater was $28.5 million in 2015. And then in 2020, it was $28.1 million. And despite this relatively flat revenue, price of consumables has gone up. And we see this all over in all of our different careers. And this makes projects, the services are costing more. And then unfunded state and federal mandates, that contributes to our funding challenges as well as changing regulations. And so with a limited revenue bucket and additional pressure on that bucket from rising costs, from new regulations and mandates, we also have an aging infrastructure, which many of you noted on the slide before this. And we also have a growing community. So a community that is steadily growing, it's a great thing, but our infrastructure is simultaneously aging. And so that presents challenges as we try to meet the needs of increased use. And all of these challenges lead to more pressure on the budget when revenue streams remain mostly flat. It leaves less dollars for critical core services. On your table, there's also a handout, and it's a good one. I learned a lot with this sheet. Our finance director designed it, but it's just a quick glance at our fiscal year 22 budget. And you can see there, and I have it on the slide, and so you can see it on your phone as well. So it's estimated for fiscal year 22 that our revenue sources brings in $24 million. And just the departments mandated by state law, so that's city manager, legal, finance, fire, which we're thankful for, and police, it's a little over 22 million, which is about our $24 million. And then you can see the others, the departments mandated by the city charter, by city ordinance, and et cetera, that they're all listed on that sheet, so you can go into it in more depth. But you can see there that it's a little off. So we need this discussion of revenue so that we know how we can together pay for these projects that we have, such as a new fire station. A general obligation bond, which is collected by your ad valorem taxes. It remains the most common way throughout Oklahoma for cities to pay for large public projects. The last bond passed in Stillwater, anyone know the year? Yeah, 1999, there we go. to pay for City Hall and our police station. That was for $14.7 million, and we just paid it off this last June of this year. So we haven't had a successful bond since 1999, which was before I graduated high school, if you really want to know how long ago that was. So a few pressing Stillwater improvement projects that the staff and the City of Stillwater have identified as pressing. And we would identify this, and projects really isn't the right word. I mean, needs. These are needs that we have as a community. And the three that we have noticed as the City of Stillwater is fire station number 2, animal welfare, and transportation, meaning roads. That was one of the main ones that you put earlier on a slide. So those are some of the projects that we've identified. But the next slide, it's going to ask for a few projects that you've identified. It could be one of these 3 or something else. And the reason why we're building this list is we need to figure out how to fund some of these core projects and needs that we have as a community, these infrastructure needs. But beyond that, let's start building a list of projects that we want to see in Stillwater. What is it that would make Stillwater even better according to you? And we may all have different opinions on that, and that's okay. So with this next slide, help us start building this list of future projects. So beyond this one that we're working on right now, what are some items that you would love to see in Stillwater? And you could just put fire station number 2 or better roads. We have ball fields, broadband, sidewalk connectivity, indoor sports complex, reliable internet, dependable water, that's important, larger YMCA, economic development, some good ones. Connected trail system, more retail. Okay, good. Less potholes, good. Okay, good, thank you. Thank you for lots of broadband, okay. So the more you put it in, the bigger the word gets, if you haven't noticed. All right. Next, I wanted really to have the rest of the time where we just listen to our fire chief and hear about fire station number 2 specifically. And if you have questions at the end for more on the time projects as a whole, I'd be happy to answer them. But we really want to give you a look into fire station number 2. And I know that the fire chief, and I will also give you a tour of that building if you've never been in it and you're like, no, it's not really that bad. Just we'd happily give you a tour. Right? Am I speaking? Okay. Yeah, we've already showed a few people around, but I think that's something that would be important for you to see. All right, so I have a video for you, and then he'll get up and talk.
Stillwater Fire Station 2 was built in 1938, and that was the first phase. And the second phase was finished in 1939. And Stillwater Fire Station 2 is an iconic piece of Stillwater history. You go around all kinds of shops in town and you see pictures of Fire Station 2, Old Central, and it's part of this community. It's part of the heart and soul of who we are. This station is the home to a lot of history in the fire service. There's been a lot of iconic firefighters that have come through this program here at OSU and have actually served in this station. So there's a lot of history and a lot of great memories in this location. So we have 4 fire stations in the city of Stillwater, and the way station 1, 2, and 3 sit, there's some of the overlapping distance or some overlapping boundaries. So if we were to move this fire station west, we would be able to respond faster to the west part of town. Plus we'd have easy access to the corridors that go all the way around the city and easy access to Stillwater Airport. We've been in the station for 83 years, and it just no longer fits our needs. It doesn't. This design of the station is just very far behind the national standard for fire stations. Even though this is an amazing part of town, and it's really one of my favorite parts of town, just because of where it's at. But that also makes it very challenging from a response perspective, because traffic is always busy day and night, and there's no traffic lights to help the firefighters get in and out of the station. Whoever calls 911, if you have an emergency, we should be at your emergency within 4 minutes travel time. But as we're pulling out of the station, we run into a lot of congestion with the traffic, and people don't want to stop. The building itself, being 83 years old, we have foundational issues. We have lead paint. We have asbestos throughout the building. The doors, the bay doors, we have 4 of them, and they're old design, and they're very slow to raise. And with the modern standards, the doors open up much faster, so we can be out of the station a lot quicker and get to the emergency, which improves our response times and gets people help when they need it the most. As the trucks are backing in, there's not an exhaust capture system, so you have diesel fumes coming into the station. They're being held in the station, and it's actually going into the living areas. The station's not built energy efficient, so it's nowhere near a green facility. The insulation's not adequate. There's gaps above the doors. It's hard to heat and cool. So it's very inefficient from an environmental perspective, plus a comfort perspective. The layout is just not suitable for modern firefighting and modern safety standards. First of all, location. If we can go west of here, we can put the station in a location that's going to give us better response times for that area of town. It's going to divide the fire run districts up in a better way, so we can improve our NFPA standard times. We can hopefully improve our ISO rating. But ultimately, when somebody calls for help, we can get help there faster, and that's what we're here for. Having a station where we can put health and safety as our first priority, and we can protect our firefighters from the diesel exhaust, and we can give them a place where they can decontaminate, and they can shower, and they can do all the things they need to do to stay safe and healthy, and then they can move into the living quarters where they're not bringing those contaminants back with them. This building has served its purpose. It has been an amazing fire station for the City of Stillwater and for Oklahoma State University. But after 83 years, it's just not cost effective to renovate this current building. Not to mention, it's not even the right geographic location. Let's pretend it was, it's still not cost efficient to do that. It's going to be more cost efficient to build a brand new fire station in the place that we need it the most. As firefighters, our mission in life is to keep people safe, and not just keep them safe, but make them feel safe. And right now is the perfect time to really to make a move to build this new fire station and really build a path to the future. And because Stillwater has just tremendous amounts of history and tradition in the fire service, and this is a path to continue that and bring it to the next level. First of all, I want to say, can you hear me? Okay, good enough. Okay. I'm Terry Essary, no kin to Brad Essary that owns Red Rock. I get asked that about every other day. But I hear he's a great guy. So thank you for having me. I appreciate the opportunity to be here. And I want to thank each of you for what you do for the community. And this is a team effort, and you guys are what makes Stillwater a special place. As you saw the video, we don't have a whole lot of time left. So really what I want to do is open it up for questions, anything that you saw that you might want to expand on, or some other issues that you might want to bring up or just ask about. I'm going to let you guys fire away at this point. Yes, sir. So what was the location you proposed? The location that has been proposed is going to be on the northeast corner of McElroy and Western. It's going to be right in that area. So it's going to be about a mile south of the airport. That's a great question. So Stillwater, there's so many tremendous things in the fire service. Oh, yes. I'm so sorry, because there's people on Zoom. Okay, the question was, what's going to happen to Fire Station 2 if we build a new station and we relocate? And the answer to that is it's going to remain. And I don't have any specifics on what they're going to do to it as far as the details of that. Becky may have some, Brady may have some, but that's a very special building, and there's a lot of great history there. There's a lot of great history for me. I didn't even go to school at OSU, but I've been a firefighter in Stillwater since 1997, and that building is very important to this entire community. So I'm sure that it will be taken care of. OSU owns that building, and we have at least until 2038. So we have 16, 17 more years, and we're going to have to do something anyway. Yeah. Any other questions? Yes, sir. Uh-huh. Yes. Yes. So the comment was in his hometown that they took a fire station similar to Fire Station 2 and turned it into a museum, and made it really first-class facility. And I don't know if that's what their plan is. I would think because the fire service really probably the best fire service protection program in the nation, in my opinion. It started in 1938 in that building with 12 students. And from there, it just kind of spread like wildfire. Now there's programs throughout the nation, but it started here. And that's why that building should, in my opinion, it's just my opinion, as the fire chief, I want to keep it a fire facility of some sort. So a fire museum would be a great thing to put in there because the history is tremendous. Trish. So yeah, the question is, has it been deemed a historical building? And the answer to that is yes. Yes, absolutely. The question is, would OSU consider a private enterprise leasing that facility? And I don't know. Becky, do you guys have any thoughts on that? Yeah. Oh my gosh, it would be great. Yes. Yeah. Yeah, that's a great question. I don't know, but we can find out. Yes, sir. How much would a new one cost? A new fire station, the one that has been proposed by Chief Bradley is the person that I took over for he retired in September, and he had a proposal made up and in $9 million, somewhere in that range. And that's an 18,000 square foot facility where you could have the administration offices, and it would be a 2-company station. So you could have 10 firefighters there. Yes, sir. That is without equipment. So the question is that $9 million with or without equipment? And that is without equipment. But the way that we're structured now, we won't have to purchase anything. We can just relocate what we have and just make the best use out of it. Anybody else? Yes, sir. So the question is, would OSU contribute to the cost of the construction? And I can't answer that for them. I do not know. I'm sorry. Yes. So their contribution is definitely going to be the new location. So obviously that's a substantial amount of money that we could save by not having to purchase a block of land. Yes, ma'am. Okay, so the question is, if we relocated it to the west part of town, is kind of what's proposed, would it help the rural customers as far as the response and service that they receive? And the answer to that is probably it would be the same, just because it's not going to go that far west. So I don't think you would see a substantial increase in any kind of response times for people in the rural areas. Yes, sir. Hmm. Yes. Yeah. Okay. And the comment was, if we do put this on a bond issue, to have it a standalone item and not have everything tied together, because the opinion is of a lot of people is that's why the one failed in the past. So, and my understanding is that's the plan. Yeah. Yes, absolutely. And he said, you know, he agreed with what had been stated earlier, and to make sure that building, it's communicated that building will still remain and something will be done to that building to where we still use it and utilize it for the community. Yes, sir. The source of funding to pay off the bond is the question. So I'm going to deflect that back to my colleagues over here, and I'll let Becky answer that. Okay.
Well, it would be, so bonds would be paid with property taxes. And here's right here, some different amounts that may affect you. So depending on the appraisal of your house and the bonds that potentially could be proposed, you could find your house right there. But it would be paid via ad valorem tax or property taxes. Yearly. To their general fund. Yes. And this is an annual increase. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. 20 years, correct? Give or take. I mean, that's what's been proposed. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. And again, we want to hear from you all. What do you all think is important? These are the things that we've identified, but you may have something completely different that we haven't even noticed that really needs to be done. So we absolutely want input from everyone. Anybody else have any questions? Okay, awesome. Nothing. Okay, well, I'm going to turn it back over because I know we're getting short on time. So thank you so much for having us. We appreciate you.
Thank you so much.